I don't know how, but I will. Everyone's seen that Togi edit, him saying, it doesn't matter how, because I can. And honestly, bro, like if you've seen that video, you know that he's fucking right. He's spitting. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. My path is just so all over the place, and it is so, I'm going through it. Like, I'm really going through it, and I want to make these videos not as a teaching, but as a documentation, because my life has been fucking hard recently. And I say that and I almost feel kind of selfish and like retarded because people have it way worse than I have it. And I have a lot to be grateful for. I have a lot to be grateful for. But the way God has allowed my life to fold in the last 6 weeks, pretty much, has completely broken me. And I don't like the way my hair looks. It doesn't matter. You know, a lot of this was a catalyst. The big catalyst was going through a breakup. And it's not to say that like this chick broke me, that I'm distraught over her specifically. And you know, if you're seeing this, you know, you did a number on me. But it was the fact that my entire identity, everything that I've ever known, built on, you know, how I get my self-worth, my love, my affection, my validation, what my purpose is, why the feeling of being chosen, the feeling of mattering to someone, all of my addictions and loneliness and everything that I have built my life upon in order to get to the place that I was. Because before I met my girlfriend, my ex, I was on top of the world. And slowly and surely, God stripped every single thing away from me to show me that I'm not that guy, that who I am without him is nothing. And I'm gonna tear up. That entire foundation, not to mention that I came off testosterone at the same time we broke up, like everything fucking crashed and burned. And that was a place that, like, I sound like a pussy because it's like, oh, you went through a breakup. Everyone goes through it. But based on my entire life and everything that has happened up until this point, it was like my entire identity and everything was stripped away from me just to show that I have nothing. And it wasn't like I was depressed. It was just like, bro, there is nothing here. There's nothing left. I have nothing. I turned 25 a week after we broke up. I had nothing. And yeah, some people go through worse, but this was what God did for me to push me to this breaking point. This isn't me complaining. Like, this is me saying, like, you know, I've been at where I thought rock bottom was, but until you have your entire emotional identity where you get self-worth and purpose, and I'm not saying it was attached to my ex, but a lot of it was like everything, you know, my job, my social life, everything, all of it stripped away. And I was just faced with, who am I without any of this? And tell you the truth, I was nothing. I was nothing. I came off testosterone, so I literally was having fucking panic attacks. I've never had anxiety. I always thought I was so high and mighty that I would never have these problems. Nope. Started getting that shit, and it sucked. It's been about a month, and the amount of transformation that I've gone through is fucking bizarre. Like, I have faced everything head on. And to be honest with you, I'm proud of myself, but it's fucking hard still. It still fucking hurts. And I'm sitting here holding on to everything in the past because it's so safe. It's what I'm used to. It has so much certainty that the uncertain things are terrifying to me. And I am so in fight or flight half the time that I'm just like, I can't let go. And I'm praying. And God has showed me moments of peace and moments of love where I am just completely fulfilled. And I'm like, and it's happened a few times that I can vividly remember when I was like, dude, this is what it's all about. Yet then every now and then you lose that, or you don't lose it, but you don't feel like that all the time, and it's okay. But it's like I have done so much journaling and self-reflection on who I am, where these patterns come from, where these thoughts coming from, my wounds, my childhood wounds. I have done 25 years of my wiring. I have looked into my past. I've done so much meditation and journaling and everything. And I have reflected on why I'm like this, where this started from. I didn't have a great upbringing. People have had it worse, obviously, but my upbringing caused a lot of problems in my head and and my mental, and it's pushed me to a direction that ended up working for so long. But I was tied to so much self-worth of external validation, of getting it from girls, and having a pornography addiction did not help that. All of that built onto pretty much where I get my self-worth from. And I'm not going to go in detail on it, but I did some deep digging, really deep digging. I've learned so much about myself that I've never learned before, and my God, it was unbelievably painful to do this. Genuinely, I feel like a pussy because I'm saying because it's only from just a small breakup, but in reality, it was just everything that I have ever leaned on for support, faith, control, safety, gone. And it was I was literally going through derealization at some points because all of this shit was just it felt like I stepped into a new reality. Genuinely, I feel like I stepped into a new reality. And every single day, I feel like I'm teetering in and out of reality. And I go in good spurts and I go in bad spurts. And you can tell that I'm not super sad, but I just got done fucking crying my eyes out earlier because I was in so much pain. My central nervous system is so messed up. I literally feel like my forearms are on fire because spiritually I'm gripping on things. And it's so weird how all this is connecting. But regardless, no more sad story. I want to document this journey. I have prayed for this to happen for years. I've prayed for God. I'm I have so many problems. I know that these things are the wrong way to go about it, but I don't know how to fix these things. God, you fix them. I prayed that prayer so many times and I would just forget about it. And this is exactly what I prayed for. This is exactly what he was showing me in order to actually step in the identity that he has for me. All the things that I've ever wanted, I have not been able to get them. I've always self-sabotaged. I've always been going backwards. I've always attempted to get there with my old identity, but I've always pulled myself backwards. I'm 25. I've been working at this life that I wanted to live since I was 18, 17. And I've learned a lot. It hasn't been a waste of time, and I don't regret a single bit of it. I don't regret anything that I've done because I know it's all been a learning lesson, and all of these things are making me extremely mentally strong. And I've gone through a lot. I don't want to just sit here and say I've gone through more than you or whatnot, but genuinely just think that the stuff that you go through is absolutely necessary. And God will use it, whether it was him allowing it or him not, or evil or whatever, he will still use it for good. I've been so broken my entire life, but it's not that we're broken, we're just human. And, as I've studied Carl Jung and just reading the Bible and everything, I've just learned so much God will use all of that. And first of all, you don't even have to do anything technically because he's the one doing it through you, but still you do have to act. And to shift your identity, it's a be, therefore I am, or an act, therefore I am identity change. And I just want to document everything that I'm going to be doing because before I didn't have a doubt in my mind that I was going to achieve the goals that I wanted to achieve. And now, unless I just fucking die, there's no way that I'm not going to become the man and achieve all the things I want to achieve. I just don't see it happening. I have a delusional belief that I can do any of the things that I set my mind to. But I'm going through such a painful period right now that all of it is just so mentally taxing, to be honest with you. And if you're going through the same thing, I have prayed to God many times that I am so grateful that this has happened now. I'm learning so much about my, having a future relationship and a marriage, and the identity shift that I need to be resting on God for my identity and not myself and performance and all these things. And I'm learning so much, and I can't even put it all into this video because it's so much. I literally felt like I fucking if you've seen JJK when Gojo does the infinity, I feel like I've done that over the last month. Like where I've just downloaded and reflected on everything. Like people talk about doing ayahuasca, and I was watching a video earlier and the guy was like, dude, it's 10 hours of just like, feels like 10 years of therapy. And I was like, dude, that's exactly what it's felt like. I feel like I've done 25 years of therapy in the last 4 weeks. I've never gone through so much change in my life until the last 4 weeks. And I'm grateful for it. I even wrote my journal last night, like thank you to my ex, because this is so fucking painful. And it wasn't all because of her, but there was a lot of pressure on her because of all these things. And her deciding to leave was the sacrifice that I needed, because I wouldn't have chose it. I would have gone back to comfort zone. I begged for her to stay like a bitch out of desperation. That was my wounded child, not wanting to be abandoned. And I'm so grateful, even though it fucking hurts, even though I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel right now, but I know where I'm going, even though God has told me to trust him in this uncertainty, because I have such a troubling time with uncertainty. But thank you. Like truly, she has sacrificed herself and all the things that she could have gotten in the life that I was going to have. She sacrificed that, and that's her choice. Like she chose to do whatever. And I hope that we can talk one day at a different place. But she sacrificed herself in order to allow me to set myself free, to find myself, to become the man that I've always wanted to be. Like this has literally been everything that I've needed to become, to be somebody else. God did not give me these desires at 16, 15 years old, that I have to retire my mom, that I have to become a multimillionaire, that I have to become famous to tell everyone about him. That's what I want to do. And I know it's not going to all turn out exactly how I want it, but he did not allow me, he didn't give me those desires in this hard life that I live for me not to get there. And I'm just grateful that he's using me. And I'm at rock bottom right now. I mean, I was like 4 weeks ago, mental rock bottom, nothing. In my physical life, I have a lot to be grateful for, but I was at rock bottom, dude. And I'm grateful that it could have been worse. It really could have, but I'm 25 now. I've learned so much up until this point. I've been a late bloomer, late to a lot of things in life. I hit puberty late. I was late to everything. And I do feel like I'm behind, but God is telling me I'm not behind. I'm right on time. He's right on time. His timing is never wrong. Oh my God, I sound like a bitch, but seriously, like, I know that before I get everything I ever wanted, God will test me and remove everything that I've ever had just to show me who I really am and who I was leaning on. Humans are always going to be worshiping something. Always. I don't remember who that quote is from. And when we think worship, we think we're like praising your hands up. That's an act of worship, but it's not worship. Worship is where you get your emotional needs or attention from. I've worshiped women my entire life. I've worshiped external validation. I've worshiped my looks, everything, working out, height, whatever. I've worshiped everything that was fleeting and external and that would leave me. And what you need to be worshiping is, I don't remember who this quote is from, but our hearts are restless until they rest in you. He's talking about God, because God is eternal. Everything from the past, present, and future, God exists, all of it. He is that. He is the epitome of love. And when our hearts that want to worship something don't worship him, this is causing problems. When they don't get love from him, when they don't get your identity, that the validation, the affection, the nourishment, the fulfillment, everything, if it's not being worshiped, then whatever you worship is what you get those things from. And if it's not on God, Jesus Christ, the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end, the one that never leaves, the one that loves you more than anything, where are you going to get it from? And that's where these problems come from. And yeah, maybe you're like me. You have to experience these things in order to understand that this is not the path. And it's hard. It's 25 years of my life wired the other direction. Stepping into this new identity, it hurts more than anything you could ever imagine. I've gone through some painful shit in life, dude. I've gone through some painful physical stuff. Nothing comes close to this. And it's not just because it's a small breakup, it's because my entire identity has been changed, broken, and shifted. Like whatever, an ego death. I've never done shrooms, I've never done any psychedelics, but I'm imagining that's kind of what goes through on this. But that you become your own God in that sense. That's not trustworthy. That's not good. You can't trust yourself. I'm imagining that's what I'm going through. Regardless, God is going to bless my hand in everything I do because he tells me he will. That's in his will. You don't have to be perfect. But if you put him first, if you seek the kingdom of righteousness, all this is going to be added unto you. And you're going to see later on as I grow, I'm not growing to preach to Christians. Okay, God didn't tell me. I know, and God doesn't speak to your head, but the desire is not to speak to Christians. So I'm not going to be a perfect person. You're going to see the flawed parts of me. You're going to see exactly who I am authentically, that I am nothing without him. But the true parts of me, everything that's bad and good, like I'm going to show it all. I'm not here to speak to Christians. I'm here to speak to people that aren't, so that I can tell as many people about God as I can. And yeah, if I don't know how exactly it's going to play out, but it's going to seem like I'm not Christian. It's going to seem like I'm not doing these things for him because I'm trying to speak to the people that are lost. If you're already Christian, what do I need to speak to you for? You don't need to tweak your theology. That's for your pastor, not me. So I'm going to show every part of me that I want to show. And, maybe I shouldn't be cussing. Maybe I shouldn't be doing these things. I'm not going to force it. I'm going to allow God to change my identity over time. He's going to morph me into who he wants me to be in order to preach and say things effectively. But this is my journey. This is my documentation because I'm building a business. I'm building myself and I'm building a following for me. And this is going to be a slow burn. The channel and the YouTube, everything, this is going to be a very long-term thing. So I'm not going to rush it. The business right now is first. I'm going to talk about that. Becoming the man is first. I'm going to talk about that. But this is where I'm at. So hopefully that you can get some insight out of this and see where I'm starting from.